Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called Anti-Racism Team, Expanding Ourselves and Our Reach. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Trilligator, and I can't believe I made it in, let alone all of you people. So thanks, everybody, for making it in this morning. It took me 45 minutes to just dig out my car, and then I passed a very bad accident on the way here. So as soon as I got into church, I started texting people, don't come in, it's worse than you think. So I'm surprised that so many people made it. Hi. The last time I checked, we had about 35 people on Zoom, maybe 40 now, so that's good. Welcome, hi people on Zoom. You're welcome to be with us. We have maybe 20, 30 people in the sanctuary today. The brave souls. Thank you very, very much. A few other thank yous. Thank you to Kathy, who is serving as our greeter this morning. If you're new here and you have any questions, please see Kathy. She's wearing the yellow stole. And Liz is serving as our usher this morning, if we need any help. Our coffee hour host, Barb, stepped in and made the coffee this morning. Thank you to Barb. A couple of announcements. Carol made it in, so there is a bake sale after church to raise money. Yeah, hooray for Carol. To raise money for the Cape Cod retreat. There's some baked goods other people brought in, so that's wonderful. This Wednesday, the 19th, Rhea is having a crafting afternoon for people who have time, because it's also school holiday week, school holiday break this week. So please come in on Wednesday afternoon. On Saturday, coming up, the 22nd, we're having a congregation-wide potluck. So please, everyone, feel welcome, and please bring a vegetarian dish and bring a guest or a friend if you like. That's Saturday night. Hope to see you then. Two other things. We are now forming a pro-democracy social justice team. First, we're going to start with an email list. So if you'd like to sign up to get notices about when we're gathering for protests or letter writing campaigns or whatever, please see Kathy, who's wearing the yellow stole, in coffee hour. She's got a table set up, and we're taking names to sign up. Tomorrow, there is something happening at noon at City Hall. It's a pro-democracy event. Because it's President's Day, not Dictator's Day, a bunch of us are gathering at City Hall at noon. Today is our anti-racism team service. The anti-racism team is another of our great social justice teams here, and they've been working all year, and excited to share with you today all the things they've been working on, what they've been learning this year. They chose for the month of February our Giving Beyond Walls recipient, which is the scholarship fund for the Friends of Melrose Metco. So half of our collection plate this month will go to a deserving graduating senior who's participating in the Metco program. We have a brief video to show you this morning about the Metco program and specifically the scholarship fund. It's about 2 minutes long. If Bill could play it for us now, Bill, and you could share it with the people on Zoom. Let's just learn a little bit about the Metco and Friends of Melrose Metco specifically.
Hi, my name is Johnny Villard. I am the class of 2024 recipient of the Friends of Melrose Metco Scholarship. After I graduated from Melrose High School, I am currently attending University of Massachusetts Lowell, and I am studying political science. After university, I would like to have the ability to attend law school and potentially become an environmental lawyer. Receiving the Friends of Melrose Metco Scholarship meant a lot to me. I've been in the Melrose Metco system since kindergarten, 2012. They have provided me with opportunities I would just not have if I was in another school system. Fortunately, I was able to attend Melrose all 13 years, and I've created a lot of connections. They've welcomed me into their community, and they've made me feel like I'm a whole person. And without them, I don't know where I'd be today. And I just want to thank them so much for allowing me to be a recipient of the 2024 Friends of Melrose Metco Scholarship.
Yeah, Bill, I think there's more to that video. There's one more person who speaks. He's going to try again. There it is, it stopped in the middle. Great. There's 1 more minute.
After graduating, I plan on being a nurse in an emergency department or an intensive care unit, and I plan on returning back to school in the future to get my nurse practitioner license and focus on research as well as changing protocols in hospitals. Receiving the FOM scholarship has meant a lot to me. I was able to save that money and put it towards studying abroad in South Africa and Swaziland, where I did nursing and missionary work there. I was able to work as a nurse in HIV and tuberculosis clinic, and I shadowed in the emergency department and helped take care of patients who were recovering from severe snake bites. I was also able to help with a surgery for a newborn baby, which was amazing. I fed 300 orphans who their parents lost their lives due to HIV, AIDS, and other illnesses. This was such an amazing opportunity, and it motivated me heavily for the future. And this is going to be something I cherish forever. And I would not have been able to do this without the FOMM scholarship. It not only benefited me, but a lot of people in Africa as well. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much. And that's the QR code for the scholarship fund if you'd like to donate directly. And we're going to follow that quickly with the QR code for the electronic version of today's order of service. That's here. If you just want to hold up your phone and take a photo of that, if you want to follow along today with the order of service, but you don't need to. We'll gently guide you. So thanks again for being here. And now it's time to greet one another. Let's just look around, see who's here this morning, say hello, good morning, thank you for coming.
Can I start? Good morning. I'm Lee. For our call to worship today, the anti-racism team has chosen an excerpt from the beautiful 1935 poem, Let America Be America Again by Langston Hughes. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive, nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I'm the Negro, bearing slavery's scars. I'm the red man, driven from the land. I'm the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must bring back our mighty dream again. Oh yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain. All the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. Come, let us worship together. And now we light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. Here to light ours this morning is Ann Easterbrooks.
This year, we're experimenting with some new options for our covenant space here in worship. Today, we will share the vision statement of our church, which was adopted 1 year ago. I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit and join me as you feel comfortable. And the words are right there up on the screen. We envision a dynamic faith community that nourishes our liberal religious values of love, reason, conscience, and action. We foster lives of integrity, joy, and service to each other, to Melrose and neighboring communities, and to the world. Please remain standing for our opening hymn. It is number 407. We're going to sit at the welcome table. The words will appear on the screen, and it's a traditional African-American gospel tune that was likely written by an enslaved person.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Our story for today is called May Among the Stars, written by Rhoda Ahmed. Little May was a dreamer. They say that daydreamers never succeed, but May was different. One day, May was working on an assignment for school about what she wanted to be when she grew up. What will you tell them, May? I'll tell them I want to see Earth. This is Earth, May, her mother said. The flowers, the grass, the forest, and the mountains. We live on Earth. I know, but I want to see Earth from out there. That's an amazing plan, little May. Then you have to become an astronaut. That way you can see Earth from space. Astronaut? Do you think I could do that? Of course you can. If you can dream it, if you believe it, and work hard for it, anything is possible. May asked her mom to take her to the library. She searched for books about space and astronauts. After dinner, May drew pictures of space. She even made her own astronaut costume out of old orange curtains and cardboard boxes. Later, she asked her dad, "But how do I become an astronaut? It seems impossible." You'll find your way, May, because if you dream it, believe in it, and work hard for it, anything is possible. But space is so far away. It's closer than you think, little May, and you may get there sooner than you think. That night, May had a happy dream. She was dancing in space, surrounded by billions of sparkling stars. Below her, she could see Earth floating and turning like a crystal ball. The next morning, May told her parents about her dream. She wanted to tell everyone, and every time she talked about it, her eyes would light up. In the classroom, Miss Bell told everyone to stand on a line on the rug. Today, we're all going to share our dreams about the future. What do you want to be? What do you want to do when you grow up? Who wants to go first? I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a football player. I want to be a mom. I want to go to space. I want to be an astronaut. All the kids started laughing. Miss Bell asked, May, are you sure you don't want to be a nurse? Nursing would be a good profession for someone like you. I don't want to be a nurse. I want to be an astronaut. May felt very disappointed. On her way home from school, May was quiet. She looked out the car window. Her world had turned blue and cold. Nothing was the way it used to be. At home, May started crying. Miss Bell said I can't become an astronaut. What a silly thing to say, said her mother. She told me I should be a nurse instead, said May. Her mom wiped away her tears. My dear May, I hope you didn't believe her. Of course I believed her. She's my teacher. I'm sorry Miss Bell didn't encourage you, but she can't stop you. No one can stop you. Follow your dream, May, and go to space. Thank you, Mom. I promise when I get to space, I'll wave to you and Dad from the spaceship. Her mom took her hand and they started dancing. You must always repeat to yourself, if I can dream it, if I can believe in it, and if I work hard for it, anything is possible. May went on dreaming, believing, and working really hard. And guess what? She went to space and waved to her mom and dad from Earth. Mae Jemison was our first African-American female astronaut, but before she did that, she was a doctor and a Peace Corps volunteer. So anyway, I'd send the children to Ari. Yep, thank you for your good listening.
Thank you, Susan. That was a lovely story. The kids are going to be cooking this morning a recipe from the Anti-Racist Cookbook. I think we'll hear more about that in coffee hour today. Every Sunday in our worship service, we take time for quiet meditation and prayer, time to reconnect with our inner selves, our highest ideals, our own personal sense of the divine. Let's begin that time together by feeling into our bodies, letting ourselves relax into our seats, feeling our feet on the floor, breathing in deeply. In this time of meditation and prayer, first we'll start with our centering song, then we'll sit for a time of shared quiet. Then we will share with one another our joys and sorrows, and I will lead us in a prayer. Our worship theme for February is justice, and our centering song for the month is Just as Long as I Have Breath, number 6 in the Gray Hymnal. Please remain seated and join in the song as you feel able and willing. Let it guide you gently into our time of shared quiet. If you would please join me in spirit of prayer as you feel comfortable. Holy Spirit, God of many names and of none, mystery that surrounds us, we ask today for peace and strength. We pray today for our neighbors, those stuck outside in the cold, those who are worried about their next meal, those who are concerned for their jobs, those who are frightened for their country. We pray for peace and strength to care for ourselves and those we love, to care for our nation and the world, to keep loving, to keep living our values. Amen.
Our church is self-funded, supported by your generous annual pledge. You may also give to our weekly collection, which we split every month with a worthy group via our Giving Beyond Our Walls program. Remote folks can donate using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. Since the choir is mostly snowed in today, I think I'm going to substitute and play a spiritual. I think this needs no introduction.
Good morning. I'm going to share with you my process on how I came to understand I am a racist. When I was a teenager growing up in Evanston, Illinois, a middle-class suburb of Chicago, my mother hired a cleaning woman, an African-American woman named Vonnie. Vonnie lived on Chicago's South Side and had to take several buses and 2 subways to get to our house. Vonnie was a beautiful, voluptuous woman who spoke so softly I could barely hear her. She never looked me in the eye when I said hello. My mother gave her our old clothes, and she was very grateful. I remember feeling a tinge of guilt when I was around Vonnie. Why did she have to clean for us? Why does she keep her head down and act like she's invisible? Why was she so deferential to my mother? Something was off, but I didn't have words for what it was. Lillian Smith writes, and I quote, "The day I was born, I began to learn my lessons. We learn the dance that cripples the human spirit, step by step. We who are white and we who are colored. These ceremonies in honor of white supremacy, performed from babyhood, slip from the conscious mind, deep down into the muscles and bones and glands, and become difficult to tear out. In my senior year in high school, my English teacher assigned us the book Native Son by Richard Wright. It is a story about a young African-American man from the south side of Chicago who was a chauffeur for a wealthy white family in a suburb of Chicago. The author explores the effect of racism on the black population in the 1930s America. He emphasizes the vicious double-edged effect of racism. Though the main character's violence stems from racial hatred, it only increases the racism in American society, as it confirms racist whites' basic fears about blacks. Reading this book opened a crack in my consciousness. I didn't realize then, but as I look back now, that suburb could have been Evanston. Over the past 5 years in my work with the anti-racism team and other connected groups, I've come to understand and begin to find words to express my part in the bigger system. I came to realize that because I grew up in America, North America, and I'm white, I cannot escape the institutionalized racism that is embedded in our society. I am swimming in it without knowing. White privilege is not having to feel discomfort about being white. I can walk into a store alone and not be followed. I do not have to give the talk to my children about what to do if they're stopped by the police. I can move into a neighborhood and be pretty sure of purchasing a home in the area in which I can afford and in which I would want to live. I can surround myself with people similar to me in my profession, my education, and my community. I began to see for the first time how privileged I was, how privileged I am, because of institutionalized racism. I learned that because of the GI Bill for World War II veterans, my father was able to attend Yale University and get a low-interest mortgage for our new home. World War II veterans of color were not able to get those loans. They were redlined out of those communities that I lived in. My family could move to the tree-lined suburb of Evanston and be welcomed with open arms. I could go to good schools. I learned that my high school African-American friend Ben and my college friend Royce had to code switch to hang out with their white friends. I realized that I was accepted to my small, reputable liberal arts women's college because of legacy. My aunt and older sister had attended the same college. Legacy is another word for affirmative action for white people. Upon reflection, I realized that as a younger person in the 1970s, traveling around the world and living both in Australia and India for extended periods of time, I was able to feel safe and welcomed because I was a white American. What would life have been advisable or possible for a black woman in the 1970s to do the same thing? For difficult years in the 1980s as a divorced single white mother, I had to advocate hard for my white son, who unraveled in his adolescent years and became addicted to drugs. Over time, I was able to get support I needed from principals, teachers, attorneys, and the police. I found an African-American therapist named Al, who was the only person in my support system who was smarter than my son. I believe Al was sent by an angel. But I wonder now what it would have been like if I had been a mother of color advocating for her son of color. We almost lost Gabe. I wonder now if Gabe had been a black boy, if he would have made it. This kind of deep thinking and questioning is part of what we do on the anti-racism team. We read together. We take courses like Unpacking Whiteness and Jubilee 3 together. We share what we learn, and then we do our best to act on these revelations to be different people in the world. You'll hear from my fellow anti-racism team members here today about many of those real-world actions that flow naturally from the inner change work that we do. Doing it together brings us closer. I am truly grateful for my fellow chairs, Paula Morotz and Beth Yergrau, who is not here with us in person but in spirit. The three of us work like tri-chairs, like soft, smooth silk, and we are so glad that we share that responsibility together. I could not ask for a more dedicated team of people who care, who are committed, who are passionate about this journey. And by doing it together with us, it makes the load so much easier. I could not be doing this work without them. Thank you. Thank you. Going forward, I admit I have privilege and that I have been swimming in racism since childhood. I speak openly and honestly about it, and that helps me see clearly and to be an ally. Working for racial justice is difficult, challenging, exhausting, but it's absolutely worthwhile because I can live with integrity, knowing that I am doing my best to live out my values. Thank you.
So MECCO is a voluntary school desegregation program that currently sends 117 students from Boston to Melrose. It's a popular program with a waiting list and very long bus rides that benefits students from both communities. Several of our members have been attending the meetings of the Friends of Melrose MECCO. I started attending in January of 2024. In the first meetings I attended, MECCO parents were talking about the bullying of their children in Melrose schools. Horrible things, such as being called ape and monkey and the N-word, being physically attacked, having a braid cut off, being asked for an N-word pass, meaning that using the N-word would be okay with the student. One student asked a black student if they would be their slave. Even more important, the parents also said that when they reported these incidents, nothing was done. Often the victim was punished instead of the perpetrator. Our schools were not listening. We looked into the incidents of bullying in Melrose that were reported to the state for the 2023 school year and found 0, while all the surrounding towns reported from 12 to 61. Josh ran with this information and filed an incident reporting form several times, but never received any acknowledgement or any other personal communication or follow-up. So,
I then went to a school committee meeting and asked them to investigate the 0 report that Melrose had given. The next day, the newly appointed superintendent of Melrose Schools, Adam Delaney, called and spoke with me for 40 minutes about how he was going to remedy the 0. He asked all of his teachers to sort through their emails and files and recreate a correct metric. Even though some of them had moved around in the system, it wasn't an easy task to go through last year's records. After a few months, Adam received the number and sent it to the Department of Education. Last week, Paula, Karen, and I attended a Friends of Melrose Metco potluck dinner meeting at Alistair MUUC and Jane Roper's house. All attendees of that meeting were singing high praises of Superintendent Adam Delaney, including the Metco parents. So I emailed Adam after the dinner, asking him if he might have a special, very short message to the MUUC community, this church. And he wrote this powerful note back to me. I am sorry I couldn't be there today. I want the Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church to know that Melrose Public Schools is committed to the important task of working toward the eradication of racism. We have the privilege and honor of educating our youth and take that responsibility very seriously. It is incumbent on us to ensure that our young people learn about the impact of racism on the past, present, and future so they can engage in anti-racism. I want to thank you all for your work in this area. Signed, Adam Delaney, proud superintendent of Melrose Public Schools.
So to summarize, the mission of METCO is to provide students with a strong academic foundation rich in cultural, educational, ethnic, socioeconomic, and racial diversity, and to foster the opportunity for children from Boston and from neighboring suburbs to develop a deeper understanding of each other in an integrated public school setting. It's a very popular program, but Boston parents have to decide whether it's worth subjecting their kids to racial bullying. Going forward, we hope to address the bullying problem in Melrose with the support of the superintendent and to celebrate the METCO program and the benefits it brings to our community and students. Last year, we participated in a rally in support of demands of METCO parents and students for accountability and transparency. That's the rally up there. Cultural sensitivity training and education, and a safe learning environment for all students. This made the front page of the Globe. This year, the rally will be a celebration of METCO and the benefits the program brings to our community. Our hopes and those of Friends of Melrose METCO are that this celebration of the benefits of a multicultural community will spread to other districts. It's the first Thursday in June. Save the date.
An example of how our community actively supports the work of the anti-racism team came out of the Unpacking Whiteness workshop. We were given a challenge: How could we apply the insights we gained to take action beyond the workshop in our personal lives and our professional or social relationships? Karen and I decided to engage our church and explore how MUUC could reflect our social justice values through the ways we invest our church funds. We approached the Finance Committee with the idea of investing some church funds in a Black-owned bank. The Finance Committee told us that a $50,000 CD was maturing at a local bank very soon, and they approved a proposal to reinvest those funds in One United Bank, founded in Boston in the 1960s as the first Black-owned bank in this country. It took some time and persistence in working through paperwork and bureaucracy by Liz Folzer and John Raymond, thank you. But that $50,000 CD was recently opened at One United Bank. The anti-racism team is grateful and proud of how our church and community stands behind our values in such tangible ways.
I'm happy to share some additional accomplishments of the anti-racism team. As Karen and Paul already mentioned, many of us attended Unpacking Whiteness at Temple Beth Shalom, and this inspired us to reach out beyond our immediate community. We had a public showing of the movie Origin, the impactful story of Isabel Wilkerson's writing of her most recent book entitled Caste. We scheduled a tour of the Royal House and slave quarters in Bedford, giving us and our guests an understanding of slavery right here in our area. We accepted an invitation from Metco students to visit Metco offices and tour Roxbury. We learned about the state of public education for Black students at the time that Metco was established, as well as its development. We also organized a group to attend 2 different August Wilson plays at Hibernian Hall in Roxbury, and we dined at Suya Joint, a Nigerian restaurant across the street. We all recommend it. Right. Most recently, we played a big part in reviving the Melrose MLK Day of Service with hospitality, sign-ups, and talks taking place right here at MUUC. And there are a few more activities listed up on the screen.
Good morning. I'm Margaret Eads. I'm a founding member of the Richmond, Virginia chapter of the anti-racism team. And this is from an op-ed that I wrote for the Richmond Times-Dispatch that ran January 26th. Seldom in recent times has the old union organizing song, "Which Side Are You On?" echoed more loudly. Who will stand with the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shift at hospitals? As Episcopal Bishop Mary Ann Edgar Buddy so eloquently put it during a prayer service at the National Cathedral, she pleaded with President Donald Trump to extend mercy to immigrants and transgender youth. And conversely, who will join the Franklin Grahams and the legions of Christian nationalists who share Trump's belief that I was saved by God to make America great again? The corollary of that anointing is a dangerous leap. Whatever Trump does, no matter who suffers, it is God's will. 61 years ago, another group of religious leaders faced a similarly consequential moral test in cities and towns across the South. When they came together to rebuke the young Black minister who was rallying thousands to peaceful protest, they scolded his impudence. The reply of Martin Luther King Jr., known now as Letter from Birmingham Jail, has earned a hallowed place among the pivotal documents of the nation. His tone rising gradually to crescendo, King excoriated the word, "wait." It rings in the ears of every Negro with piercing familiarity, he wrote. This wait has almost always meant never. I had imagined that those King addressed were local Birmingham ministers, essentially the 34-year-old's white peers. But after hearing a reading of the letter at Richmond's downtown St. James Episcopal Church on a day when the honoring of King and inauguration of Trump converged in a weird juxtaposition, I looked further. Though I should not have been surprised, I was, to find that the men lecturing King sat at the very pinnacle of ecclesiastic power. The bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Alabama, the auxiliary bishop of the Mobile Birmingham Roman Catholic Church, the rabbi of Temple Emmanuel, the bishop of the Alabama West Florida Conference of the Methodist Church, the moderator of the Synod of the Alabama Presbyterian Church. To their shame, those who should have shepherded their flocks with vision and compassion bowed to the prevailing political winds. Now the question looms. As America faces another moral and political crisis involving millions of fearful and disadvantaged people, where will those who are supposed to lead in moral, not political terms, land? How will they interpret the prophet Micah's admonition to entwine justice and mercy, or Jesus' instruction that inasmuch as ye have done it unto the one of least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me? There is no doubt that America needs a drastically reformed immigration system, but it is neither justice nor mercy to foment hatred and revulsion by falsely claiming that immigrants are eating cats and dogs. It is not just nor merciful to abet fear among children and families that they will be trapped and deported if they frequent institutions infused with regard for their humanity, churches, hospitals, and schools. It is heartless and unjust to leave in limbo millions of adults who were brought to America as children and have never known another home. And it is the height of cynicism to portray as criminals and mental misfits an entire group of men and women, the vast majority of whom work quietly, pay taxes, and obey the laws. As the Trump juggernaut advances at warp speed, faith leaders and faith congregations have little time to decide which side are they on. Faced with a looming moral test in 1963, religious leaders across the South fell spectacularly. History has laid bare their cowardice. Today, prominent legal experts are weighing in to caution that Trump is not king. Those who presumably have the wisdom and authority to speak to more soulful matters need to make their voices heard as well. The new president is not king, and even more assuredly, he is not God. So please rise in the body or the spirit. Join in our closing hymn, which is also an African American spiritual, number 348 in the gray hymnal, Guide My Feet. Thanks, Margaret.
please remain standing if you will, and join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you so much to our anti-racism team for all the good work that you do all year round, but especially for sharing it with us today. And I'm sure people want to talk about it with you in coffee hour. Our service has ended after a brief postlude from Tom. I invite everybody to join us in Parish Hall, which is the big room right over there. We do have some coffee, and I think we have some snacks. So it'd be nice if you want to join us in conversation. And people can, on the Zoom room, can stay in the Zoom room if you like and have a chat too. Thank you for coming again, and happy Sunday.